Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 5 of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Shibai Otsutsuki Karma Seal. Don't forget to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, guys, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, I indeed have 4 more channels. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead and check out Anime King 2, Anime King 3, Anime Symbol, and Anime Prince. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So yeah, without further ado or wasting more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now, guys. So the last part that we left off, Naruto was currently attacking Gato and his forces. Gato tried to run away for his life, however, Naruto showed him that escape was impossible as he proceeded to annihilate Gato forces and slowly walk after the man. When he finally had him, he broke Gato until the man had no will left to live. However, that is when Naruto picked up on something as he used his Byakugan to glance over towards the bridge. What he saw shocked him. He quickly told Hikari to free the prisoners as he took off. She could not fly, so she decided to head back and free the prisoners. As Naruto came down on the bridge with a violent force, the entire bridge was destroyed. Haku and Zabuza used the opportunity to get away from the chaos that was happening. As Naruto landed down, Team 9 was there, and Yamato, Ami, Sakura, they were all there. Things were not looking so good, not in the slightest, as Naruto turned his wrath upon them. The battle started out as Naruto reminded Menma who he was. The changes took Menma off guard, but it was the power. Guy rushed in as he saved Menma's life. Naruto was aiming to just annihilate Menma. Guy saved him 3 times and shoved him away. As Naruto took on Guy and Yamato, the 2 Jonins tried to take him down. However, Naruto started to flex his power as he sent them sailing. Lee tried to stop Naruto as Naruto almost snapped his head clean off. He broke several of Neji's ribs as he sent Tenten through a wall and another tree. Ami tried to stop Naruto with her blade. She was treated like a fly. Naruto then shoved his hand through Menma and annihilated his insides with lightning. However, Guy came and knocked Naruto away as he was in the 7 gates. Menma was only alive because of the 9 tails. 5 seconds later, if Guy had not intervened, Menma would have been dead. The battle became more chaotic as Guy started to fight at tremendous force. However, Naruto released obscene amount of power that dwarfed the gates. Naruto then summoned a gigantic water serpent. Yamato created a blockade trying to block it, but it got through. In the end, though, he was able to cover the kids. Yamato was exhausted after using so much chakra. Guy once again attacked Naruto, and this time, Naruto aimed for the kill. Guy was severely damaged on the inside, unable to keep up with the raw, uncontrollable power that Naruto was releasing. In fact, Naruto started to lose control as Menma transformed as he gave into the 9th tail. He transformed as he looked up at Naruto, ready to attack, but Yamato saw something. Yamato called the 4th Hokage by throwing the kunai. as Naruto had to stop himself. He was losing control, and he had no idea what was going to happen. He then remembered the words of the person that bestowed these powers upon him, to not let them control you. So Naruto gave his father a death glare as he flew off, as he went and got Hikari and got out of there. Some time passed as the group was taken back to the village. Guy was placed in intensive care. There was a 50-50% chance that he would not make it, so this was a sad, grieving moment. However, the upside was none of them died. They were all in severe bad condition, as the doctor spoke to Minato about Menma's health, how close he was to death, as his organs inside were almost completely ruptured and destroyed. Minato was angry by the whole situation. However, Kushina, she was furious. She knew that he would come back. She was angry at Minato as she told him to do it. Minato had no choice as he put Naruto on the kill on sight list. Naruto was vastly more powerful, none of them knew how. However, they had to stop him by any means necessary. Some time passed after that. Idiotic. People believed that they had a chance. Some of them spotted Naruto and Hikari. However, every single one of them was destroyed. Annihilated Hikari. She was getting vastly stronger as the time passed by. The other Uchihas had implanted Mangekyou Sharingan abilities in her eyes, and she was able to use them. As she used the black flames to turn a guy into dust, they wouldn't stop burning until he was gone. Not only that, Naruto came across a man. He thought the man was here to fight him, but the man told him something that only someone else that Naruto trusted knew. That is when Naruto was able to meet Kabuto once again. It turns out that Kabuto was the one in the village that had stand by Naruto throughout all of this. Yes, Kabuto was one of the guards. Kabuto did not do this because he was ordered to. He actually did it just because he wanted to. Yes, in fact, Naruto was a friend to him. That word might not mean a lot nowadays, but Naruto was a friend to him. Yes, Kabuto never expected that Naruto would become this, not at all, but surprising changes, and now that he was found, Kabuto wanted to meet his master. As Kabuto said that, Orochimaru slithered out from his little hiding spot as he came face to face with one of the new haters of the Hidden Leaf. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the playset of yourself. So we'll say we jump right into this brand new episode. Don't forget to turn on the bell notification, see exactly when I post. So let's begin now guys. We begin this new episode at Konoha. Menma was lying down on the grass. He was sweaty. He was breathing heavily. As he looked towards his arms, there was a lot of scar in his hands. However, they were healing though. Since the dreadful defeat on his part, since he almost got his life taken away from him, Menma has upped his training to an obsessive amount. His mother and father even seemed to be worried about him the way he was going. However, he needed this. Naruto was a bigger threat than any of them could ever imagine. If it wasn't for Might Guy, 3 times Naruto would have killed him. 3 times, and that was not counting when Naruto shoved his hand right through him to electrocute him. Menma didn't want to experience anything like that ever again. So he had to be ready for the next time they eventually met once again. He had to be strong enough to end him. Meanwhile that was going on, the Sannin. He is said to be the strongest out of all 3 of them. As his reptilian eyes gazed towards the clear eyes of the boy in front of him, The whole room was tense. Everyone inside could feel it. Orochimaru had this small smirk on his face. However, Naruto was all serious. I must say, when Kabuto informed me about you, I didn't allow you to cross my mind because in the state that you were in, you served no purpose, but now, it seems, miracles do happen, Orochimaru said, with a smile on his face. And who do we have here, he said, as he tilted his head towards Hikari with a smile. The very sight of the man made her skin crawl. There was just something about him. Take your eyes off her, said Naruto, in a stern tone. My oh my. What's with that tone, the Sannin said. After all, we're just getting to know one another. Let's get one thing straight. I don't trust you, said Naruto. I've heard things about you. That you're a slimy, manipulated bastard who use people as pawns. So let's get this straight right here and now. I'm not your lackey. I'm not your pawn. And I'm not working for you. In fact, the only reason why I stand right here is because Kabuto over there is my friend. And he's the only reason why I'm listening to you at the moment. Because I don't trust you. And I never will. Orochimaru's smile seemed to fade slightly. Now, Naruto Namikaze, he said. Is that any way to speak to your... Don't call me that, said Naruto. The place started to tremble. Orochimaru pretended like he did not notice. What, Namikaze? I thought it was your last name. As the Sannin started to release his own aura. However, Naruto was matching it, as the Sannin seemed to find this rather amusing until he gazed deeper within those eyes. Orochimaru was not sure what he saw, but it wasn't pretty, not at all. The Sannin narrowed his gaze until Kabuto stepped in the center. We're not here to fight. All of us share a vested interest, which is Konoha downfall. Orochimaru-sama, Naruto, will be a great benefit in our plans to bring down Konoha. I had gave you the report on what he did to those Konoha ninjas, and you saw it for yourself. Might Guy was one of them, so not having him on our side would be a truly ill play on our part. Orochimaru shot Kabuto a look. However, he calmed down. Fine. But you will take responsibility of him until such time comes. After all, he said it himself. I'm not the one in charge of him, Orochimaru said. The way he spoke seemed to be humorful, but there was no humor in his tone. He then gazed towards Naruto. You might believe that I am not in charge, but remember this. This place belongs to me. Kabuto is my subordinate. And while you're here, you will show me the respect I deserve. The Sannin said. Hikari glanced towards Naruto. She knew that Naruto had a temper, a rather violent one. He was able to control that temper for a very long time, but sometimes it came out rather explosive. Naruto did not like the Sannin words, but he did not retaliate because of Kabuto. He calmed himself, but he did not answer the Sannin as he simply walked away. Orochimaru leaving the opposite side. The boy might be useful for the time being. However, the Sannin was curious. He saw something behind those eyes. A strange power source. If the boy was as powerful as they say, he will serve as a good collateral destruction for Konoha forces. Orochimaru would use every pawn and every tool that he had to bring the village down to its knees. But he was sure that this was not the final conversation he will be having with that boy. But for now, there was a lot on his plate. A lot that he had to do. So much. Moments later, Naruto and Hikari were on top of a large platform of stones. as she spoke. If you don't trust him then, we should leave, she said. You're right. I don't trust Orochimaru, not in the slightest. But I owe Kabuto the benefit of the doubt. Throughout my life, he was my only friend. Until I met you, said Naruto, looking at her. I owe him this. I can't just go and turn my back on him, when he did not turn his back on me. In fact, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here right now because he was the one that let me out of my cell and gave me the opportunity to flee before anyone had noticed. So I owe him, said Naruto. And besides, as much as I hate the Sannin, he has the forces, and we can use that to our advantage. However, I heard things about him in the past. What he does to people, experiments. There was a lot of bad things that was said about him while I was locked away in prison. Naruto looked her dead in the eyes. You're the most important person in my life, he said, looking at her. His words did not stutter or hesitate in the slightest. He meant what he said. So if he ever tried to lay a hand on you, I'll annihilate him, said Naruto. The thunder could be heard above the both of them. Her gaze looked surprising as she looked at him. Before she could say anything though, Kabuto arrived on the scene. Naruto, may we speak in private, he said. Naruto opened his mouth to say something, as he would have said anything he wanted to say to him, he can say it in front of her, but she spoke instead. It's alright, she said, as she calmly walked away. Her mind was reeling. She never thought that she would be able to trust anyone ever again, just like how she trusts him now. She knew that their friendship and bond had gotten deeper in the time that they spent together. Her life had been full of misery, so as his. That was able to bring them together, and now, when he said those words, she felt her heart skip a beat. For her entire life, she's been used as a slave. She never had anyone that she found to be so precious to her. The mere thought of him brought a smile to her face, and she felt happy, knowing that he was there for her. Over towards the other side, as both men gazed down towards the water rushing down below them, it was a small stream. It was Naruto that spoke, having an idea what Kabuto wanted to speak about, but he also wanted to know something. Why do you follow someone like that? Naruto wasn't finished as he continued. He clearly only see you as a useful pawn. If you are no longer any use to him, he will turn you into one of his victims. Naruto glanced towards Kabuto. You told me that for your entire life, you had no identity. You were forced to take on so many personas, to be so many different other people. Yet, you don't know who you are. I don't understand why you keep on letting people like that control your life and tell you what to do. Why not step beyond their shadow and become your own man, said Naruto. That's a lot more difficult than you make it sound, Kabuto said. And you're right. I've never truly had my own identity, but Orochimaru-sama has given me a purpose to go on, and has done so much for me in the past couple of years. And in return, I proved my loyalty to him. Naruto was about to say something, but Kabuto cut him off. I have no friends in this world other than you. Before I even know you, I thought the notion of the word friendship was just something that people make up to make them feel fulfilled in life, that they know people. I think it was just a scam, a waste of time. But you are my friend, said Kabuto. That is why I need to tell you that Lord Orochimaru is a very hateful person. He might seem to hide all of that under a persona of calm and smiling most times, but if your words keep on vindicting his, he will strike. He will believe that you're not worth the problem that you're bringing him. And I do not want me bringing you here to turn into a battle between you two. You both are after the same goal, and with the manpower that he's going to provide, you can finally achieve what you've wanted for so long now, to get your revenge on all of them and make them pay for what they did. So I need you to remain docile and calm until the final showdown is here. I believe that I'm one of the few people that know the hell that they put you through. And now that you have this great power, you can put them back through that hell and make it 1,000 times worse. You have the power to do so now. This is something you dreamt of, which you told me about on several occasions. To be honest, when I freed you, I regretted my action, because I thought I allowed my only friend to go out there and die, you not having the capability of protecting yourself. But now, that is no longer the case. We can work together in this. The future is unknown, but the future is vast and unending, Kabuto said. And now that you have the means to show them all what you're capable of, your future is no longer set in stone. You're a free man, and you're capable of making your own choices. So just do the right thing. Naruto gazed towards Kabuto as he was silent before he turned his gaze towards the horizon in front of him as he closed his eyes, taking in Kabuto's words. Time skip. I am not walking in on anything blind, so trust me or not, but I want to know what's going on, said Naruto. In front of him was none other than the Sannin. Orochimaru looked at the boy. So you want to know my exact plan, he said. Yes, said Naruto. The boy had mellowed out a lot. Orochimaru figured that Kabuto was the one behind this. Fine, he said. But before that, I would require your help in ending someone's life. Naruto gave him a look. He was about to say something, but the Sannin cut him off. Before you speak, if you think that this is me using you as a pawn, then go right ahead. But if you want to get involved, you're gonna have to get your hands a bit dirty in the beginning. You see, our plan lied with the hidden sand, but at the moment, the Kazekage of that village, he's about to turn his back upon us. So we need to kill him, said Naruto. Exactly, in order for us to get close and end the Hokage of the village. I want you to listen to me, said Naruto as he looked at Orochimaru. The only one that's gonna kill Minato. It's me. I owe him that. So bring Konoha down to its knees. Wipe it away for all I care but you. Will allow me my time of vengeance. That is my whole reason of joining you and your attack. Orochimaru narrowed his gaze. Orochimaru had something plotting. As much as Naruto's strength would be needed for the upcoming battle, the Sannin also had something plotting behind the scenes. Fine, he said. It doesn't matter who ends his life. As long as he's dead, tell your people to stay away from Mito Namikaze and Menma Namikaze. And their bitch of a mother, said Naruto. They're my targets. The Sannin start to walk. Let's just see if you're strong enough to handle the Kazekage, he said, as Naruto gazed at him. Time skip. Hikiri had her arm wrapped around Naruto as he held her by the waist. The both of them were currently in mid-air as she gazed down towards the scene below. Orochimaru stood there. Behind him was a white-haired individual with 2 dots right at his forehead. His name was Kimimaru. As Naruto and Hikiri glanced down, as they were having a conversation, Rasa wanted to step out of the attack, diving back into previous arguments on Minato's strength as a village leader, which was proven back in the war. But not only that either, there was also the Hyuga, the Uchiha, and all the other powerful clans of Konoha. So Rasa was going to make his better judgment, he believed, and spare this village this headache, and just step out right now and end this before it got too dangerous on his part. Our deal is done, said Rasa. I'm no longer interested in the downfall of Konoha. You can do as you please. There will be no word that come from my part on the actions that you will take. But as for our partnership, it is hereby cancelled. Orochimaru chuckled. Oh, if it was just that easy, he said. Rasa 4 guards tensed themselves. I'm afraid it isn't that easy. You see, in order to fulfill my plan, I'm going to need you and your Jinjuliki and your mindless people that will listen to your word. Think very careful of what you will say next. As I said to you, our partnership is done, so I would advise that you watch your mouth in my presence. Rasa spoke to him, the look in his eyes. He was ready to crush Orochimaru if he spoke out of terms, it seems. Well then, the Sannin said, let us see what you're capable of. But he wasn't talking to Rasa as he flared his chakra, the signal. The guards snapped their gaze up when they felt something. But it was too late. Amaterasu. Her words came out flowingly. The guards were ignited by the flames. Rasa used his sand to shield himself. He also used his sand to remove the black flames from the guards that was on their armor and clothing alone. However, unfortunately, one of them got it right on his head. So yes, he was screwed. However, she jumped down as she landed. Her blade was a fine piece of work. Her movements were fast and quick. She gazed into one of their eyes, their body went completely stiff, as he could no longer move as she sliced him down. Another one jumped away and flashed to hand sign, releasing a devastating wind attack. But his attack tore the earth apart, and he fell right into it. In the reality though, it was already over the moment he gazed into those eyes. Orochimaru stood there with a shocked look on his face. He had no idea who this girl was. Now he was able to witness those eyes of hers. Those remarkable, beautiful eyes. His goal was to achieve said eyes after the attack on Konoha, with so many Uchihas to pick from. But now, he gazed upon those eyes, a level above the original. He had to say, they were truly remarkable. However, the Sannin turned his gaze as golden dust turned into pillars. They came dropping down on Naruto. However, his speed was far superior to Rasa. Sun attack. The golden dust swirled together before turning into hundreds of needles. They pierced through the air with a tremendous force, ready to tear Naruto asunder. However, Naruto jumped straight up in the sky, as he then twirled. Raw manipulation of wind energy in Naruto turned into a literal vortex, and then said vortex became a tornado. Rasa golden dust was pulled inside. Rasa tried to retract his golden dust, but to his surprise he could not. He didn't understand what was going on when suddenly Rasa found himself yanked forward. His own needles slammed into him with a force unlike what he used earlier. Rasa flew up in the sky as he landed back on his cloud. He went down to one knee on his cloud of golden dust, as he had wounds all over. His gaze flashed over toward the Sannin, who was simply smiling at him as the Sannin pointed behind him. Rasa then heard it. Burn away life, burn away death, burn away existence itself. World consuming flames. Rasa had to leap off his cloud. His right arm got hit in the attack. He's never seen white flames before. They were barely visible, but the white flames instantly crystallized all the sand in the area. Naruto was gaining more techniques, more abilities. This was one of them. From what he was able to see, these flames had no limit. His body had not reached the full potential that it was supposed to reach. He wasn't anywhere close to that yet. But these flames of his, it didn't just burn, it destroyed. It had a intensive heat. Because the white flames did not touch the sand, and yet it crystallized. Rasa's arm was gone. It was just gone. The flames that Naruto had, they eat away at what they were placed on. They destroyed structure and matter itself. Naruto was just getting the hang of them. This was one of the more difficult techniques to wield, because if he lost control, he had no idea what would happen after that. Rasa was now without one of his arms, and he was bleeding badly. As he landed, Rasa manipulated his sand. As he took it from a pouch on his waist, he used it to construct an arm, as Naruto was in front of him. Naruto slammed his leg on said arm. His leg burst right through it, however. The sand wrapped around it and pulled him down. Rasa then created a spear as he drove the golden spear towards Naruto's throat. However, Naruto flexed his power. The spear exploded into thousands of pieces. Rasa felt his shoulder hit by an invisible force. It broke his collarbone. Rasa winced out in pain as Naruto slammed a punch into his gut and palm struck him right in the chest. Rasa could swear that his heart stopped for a moment until it contrasted as he collapsed downwards, puking up blood. Rasa couldn't believe that he was this easily defeated. He wasn't a weakling. Granted, in terms of his strength versus Minato's, there was a great difference between them. But he was still a Kage, he was above a Jonin. And yet, he was taken down so easily. Rasa was furious by the thought alone. How could he be brought down so easily? He was the leader of the village, the ruler of his village, the ruler of his people. No, he refused. He refused to fall. Rasa manipulated the golden dust with the normal sand, pulling it towards him. Hikari stepped back. Even Orochimaru was surprised. What was this? A final trump card. As Kimimaro watched, Rasa created a humanoid figure. It possessed no facial features. It had 2 gigantic hands. Its body was large. Despite the scale though, the people in the land of sand could not see this. They had taken quite the toll away from their village. So despite the large beast that was now hovering over Naruto, I refused to be defeated by a child. Rasa roared out. The massive arms came down. Hikari had to jump away, so did Orochimaru and Kimimaro. Boom! The place shook violently as his fist impacted into the ground twice, and again, and again. He was aiming to flatten everything around him until there was nothing left. That is when he looked around as he couldn't see anything. However, he then looked down as he saw the child running up his sandy arm. Rasa roared as he sent out countless sand spikes. However, Naruto evaded and dodged all of them. However, the strange part about this was, Naruto's eyes were closed. He needed to be one with his power. He needed to command it. He needed to wield it. He needed to be one with it. Despite his eyes being closed, Naruto could see it. He could see the essence. He could see the flow of chakra. He could feel it before it even shoot outwards. This was amazing. Naruto dodged and weave and evade everything with his eyes closed. He then reached out to the heavens. Naruto now possessed a higher level than ninjutsu, something that was far above it. Ninjutsu was just a speck compared to what the Otsutsukis could wield, but this was no normal Otsutsuki that granted him this godly power. It was Shibai Otsutsuki, and now Naruto had access to Shinjutsu. He felt the heavens. He felt the chakra through the ear. Naruto did something. For the first time, he manipulated. He twisted. Everyone looked up. Well, Orochimaru said, completely shocked by this. Hikari glanced up as she felt his power. He's growing stronger, day by day. Rasa snapped his gaze up as Naruto jumped, hovering above him, when suddenly a lightning contrast from the heavens and slammed into Naruto. All of Rasa's sand was blown away. Instead of being hurt though, the lightning wrapped itself around Naruto's body. Naruto pushed off from the very ear itself as he placed 2 fingers on the sand monstrosity. A violent burst happened like that, and it exploded. Rasa crashed into the sand, which was mostly crystallized by now, as Naruto landed. However, he fell to one knee. Hikari appeared beside him. "Are you okay?" she said, sounding concerned. Naruto coughed as blood sprayed out of his mouth on the sand. "Naruto," she said. He raised a hand. "I'm alright. I just overdid it a bit. The lightning didn't go through me as I thought." Some of the excess lightning rushed back into his system, which was not good at all. And it affected him greatly, but his body was healing. He needed more control. He was sure that the god that possessed his power never had this problem before. As Naruto coughed some more, she placed a hand on his back. He smiled up towards her. "Thanks. But I'm really okay," he said to her. "Well, it seems like all of your talk of bravado was not only that." Orochimaru said as Naruto turned to face him. Orochimaru walked over towards the body of Rasa, where there was a nasty burn in his chest. The man was barely gasping for breath. The Sannin plunged the Kusanagi blade right into his heart. As Naruto picked himself up, Hikari was standing right beside him to support him. "Don't worry," Orochimaru said. "You've earned the reveal of my plan. Now that I can somewhat trust you," he said to him. "Is this a game to you?" said Naruto. "Having someone prove themselves before, telling them what the hell they're going to do?" "Well, for you, yes," Orochimaru said. "Because just like you don't trust me, I didn't trust you to begin with. The only reason why I'm even having this go on is because Kabuto believed that you will be a great asset in what is to come. And now, you've proven that. But remember your place, child," Orochimaru said, as he gazed down towards Naruto, like he was above him. Orochimaru would have no problem defeating Rasa. Rasa was one of the weakest Kages. Yes, his strength level was not there with the others. Orochimaru plotted for Kimimaro to kill him after all. Kimimaro. So yes, Rasa was not that powerful. Although, Rasa did not harm the boy though. His own technique did. It seems he didn't have full control. The child would not reveal a single thing to him about how he was capable of doing such things. Kimimaro remained quiet as he watched. Orochimaru glanced towards Hikari. I wonder, who exactly are you?" he said. "I've not heard of a missing Uchiha with such power," he said, looking towards her. As Naruto's glare turned deadly, as Hikari spoke up, "My well-being does not concern you. So go on and tell us the plan, and stop wasting our time." Just like your counterpart, the Sannin said. "The both of you might be more trouble than you're worth. But for now, you're worth it for the upcoming invasion. No doubt your little skirmish has shake up some area nearby. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the Sand envoys are on their way. But this won't take long, the Sanin said. And besides, you two will be going back with Kimimaro, Orochimaru said, walking over as he picked up the body of Rasa. With a smile on his face. Time skip. A lot has happened in the past couple of months. So much. There has been no further incident. Wherever Naruto was, he must be lying low. There was many out searching for him. The kill on sight order was right at his name, for a hefty reward from Konoha, so yes. There was a lot in play. Kushina had been furious and also worried about her kids. Menma had taken the attack with a strive of getting stronger, and over the past months he has gotten stronger. He's went completely intense about it, training and pushing himself time after time again, in order to be able to face Naruto when the time comes. Mito also started to focus more on her training as well. Naruto was vastly stronger than they thought, so they had to be prepared. However, time flew by so quickly, and now, it was a special time. It was the Chunin exams of Konoha. There was face from all over. Because of the pact that was signed between Kumo and Konoha, Kumo was participating within the Chunin exams this year. The San was here. All sorts of village. It was a true big event. Many wanted to see the children of Minato Namikaze to see if they take after their father in overall skills and performance. The day was finally here, and Menma wasn't about to lose the opportunity and having to stay at Genin for 6 more months. So, him and his team partake in the exam. The first one was a simple written test, and it was to test if they would give up or not, and how they would gather information as well. They easily passed by. Mito and her team was still in it as well. The second test was a forest of death. The first team that made it out was a team from the Sand village, with that boy that Benma had met. His name was Gar. Quite a troublesome individual he was. Menma and his team made it out on the second day. Mito and their team made it out on the second day as well, but much earlier than Menma and his group, as several other Konoha teams made it. The Kumo group did not make it that far, as they were taken out in the second exam. At the moment, it was the 5th day, as Menma was looking around at all the others. All of his graduation class was here, and a few others as well. He saw someone that he had met in the Forest of Death. His name was Kabuto Yakuji, also a member of Konoha, as he had offered to aid them, and his help got them through, facing off against a strange group of rain ninjas. But that was over now. Kabuto raised his hand though. Menma was surprised that he gave up. He didn't look that injured, although they did not meet on the first day, so Menma shrugged it off. Mito and her group stood over to the side as they watched. All the Jonins were gathering. The Hokage, as she watched her father emerge. He started to speak as he gave a speech. The forest wasn't that hard. They had faced a team from the grass and they easily got the scroll from them. Her team has gotten quite strong. Even Kiba was able to pull off a new move that he called his secret special awesome move. He had not shown any one of them yet. Sasuke was getting stronger as well. She knew that Sasuke always felt greatly outshined. His father was always paying attention to his older brother Itachi. As the battle went on, some of the key battles were Gaara versus Rock Lee, a devastating battle if there was ever one. Menma faced off against Dosu of the Sound Village. Menma came out on top after he was able to realize where the threat actually lay, and it was coming from the gauntlets on his arms. Menma had destroyed them, using wind against him. Mito faced off against one of Kabuto's teammates. His name was Yori Akadu. He was able to unusually stretch his body as he tried to hold her with that. However, she used a rather powerful wing technique that many were surprised that she was capable of, as the wing technique sliced into his skin, forcing him to return back to his normal body mass. She then proceeded to use her chakra chains against him, and it was over for him. The rest of the matches take place as the finals were picked, as both Mito and Menma glance at the board to see the finals. The first match that will be taking place will be Shikamaru versus Zaku of the Sound Village. Zaku was able to face off against Choji and defeat him, so Shikamaru will be fighting him first. The second match will be Mito versus Temari of the Sand Village. The third match will be Shino versus Kankuro. The fourth match will be Sasuke Uchiha versus Neji Hyuga. The fifth match will be Menma versus Gaara, and Ami will be fighting the winner of the first match, and then they will move on into the other round. They were given 1 month to train and prepare themselves and be ready for the battle that will definitely come. So with that, everyone split apart. Sasuke returned to his home, hoping to receive aid from his brother to be ready for the finals, despite how busy his brother was nowadays. Because they might end up fighting each other in the finals, Kushina decided to take Mito. Yes, she decided to take Mito. Everything was set in place, so Minato decided to focus on Menma and give him some extra aid in his performance so that he will be ready for the finals. The months fly by rather quickly. While that was taking place, as the groups were preparing themselves and readying themselves, both Naruto and Hikari were staying in a different location from where Orochimaru resided, because Naruto needed somewhere, as they found a rather small secluded village away from almost all others. They had a lot of money after decimating all the bandit camp groups. So yes, they had a lot of money, as they were able to stay in the hotel for the entire month. However, Naruto was not there. Not at all. There was a large cliff nearby. The place was always beaming to ready to pour down rain. They were nearby the land of rain, not close to the village but nearby. So yes, they were receiving the side effects. For days, Naruto sat there on that cliff. She brought him food, she brought him things to drink. He kept on meditating. However, the more he did that, the more the weather seemed to be getting more violent. She's seen him manipulate the weather before with his actions, but it seems like he was able to literally bend it to his will now. She wouldn't be surprised if in a few more weeks he was able to completely master it. As for her herself, she wasn't lacking in her training. Her and Naruto spar majority of the times. She was focused on improving her physical strength. She was about to bring him something to eat when she saw him walking down. His whole body seemed to be much lighter. The way he carried himself, his eyes were closed as he walked down the steep hill. When he reached her though, he opened his eyes as she saw in and beyond them. However, there was something that she noticed. She stopped him. What's wrong? Naruto looked down towards his hand. I'm worried about you, he said, as he looked towards her. I am not disregarding your strength. I know that you're vastly powerful, he said. However, with this invasion going on, my mind will be split on several different events taking place. And you will be in the middle of all of it fighting. Never before has my emotions had to be on the front line for anyone. But now, the thought of losing you, when I'm so close to achieving what I've wanted for so long. She took his hand. You're not going to lose me, she said. We're going in together on this, and we will come out together on this alive. We will both get our revenge on the village, the Uchiha clan. Those people that have hurt you so much, all of them will feel our wrath, and we will come out alive. And when this is all over, we can finally be free. Together, she said to him. That brought a smile to Naruto's face. There is no other way I'd rather spend my time after this, he said to her. A genuine smile appeared on her face. She moved forward as she embraced him, wrapping her arms around him. Her cheeks were pink as Naruto wrapped his arms around her, as they simply held each other there. Time skip. The big event was taking place. Everyone was ready. The place was bubbling with activities. Everyone was moving around, making bets, this and that. The Kazekage arrived. As he greeted the Hokage, Minato greeted the man with a smile. His face was calm and relaxed. The Kazekage came with 2 guards. As they stood behind his chair, relaxed and nonchalant. Down below, all the genin started to gather. The daimyos were here. Many respected power heads. The Raikage group had not made it, so he wouldn't show his face here. They had embarrassed him for not making it to the finals. They were first genins though. Everything was going so smoothly. Everything was alright. Everything was just okay. People were here to have fun. People were here to relax, to enjoy their time. The matches down below started to take place. Each and every match was a momentum to the strength of the genins. Mito pulled off the win. Not without a few bad injuries, but she pulled off the win. And she didn't even have to tap into the power of the 9 tails. Surprisingly though, Sasuke and Neji match came to a draw. Yes, the both of them lost because of chakra exhaustion. It was a ruthless match. For years now, there has been a vendetta between the 2 clans to show their strength. The match was ruthless, as both clans want to show that they were superior than the other. So they put a lot of weight on the children. In the end, the both of them passed out because of chakra. They didn't have any more to continue. As for Shino and Kankuro, Shino came out on top. But something did not seem right about this match. It was like Kankuro was not trying that hard. A bloodlusted smile appeared on Gaara's face, as it was finally his turn. Finally his turn. Minma took a breath as he made his way down there. His nerves has been getting the better of him, and he's not told anyone about this. When he first laid his eyes on Naruto, Naruto went for his throat. Twice now as he went on missions, he almost got his nerves in front of his mission priorities and almost messed up. However, he was able to push past it, but it was still bothering him. The look in Gaara's eyes was similar to the one that Naruto had. The intent to kill him without hesitation in the slightest. Minma froze up for a moment as he took a deep breath. But he relaxed himself though, as he calmed down. Mito came back. Her injuries were able to quickly heal up because of the fox. However, she was still suffering from a few random stabbing pain. Temari Fan was a deadly weapon. Minma went off as he started to battle Gaara. Minma pulled out all the stops. He's been really focusing on his wind manipulation, as he was using that against Gaara. Gaara's intention was just to kill him. However, Minma was able to evade his attacks, showing that his speed was greater than even Lee's. Without the gates though, however, he was still able to evade Gaara-san. Minma had always been seen as the one that will surpass Minato in the future. Mito was behind him. Everyone knew that he was a stronger one. He's shown that on multiple occasions. Despite her having the advantage of having the chakra chain and her strength advantage over him, he made up for it with his speed and quick attacks, and that is what he was using against Gaara. Minma pulled out a B-rank technique, wind style, wind slide cutter. Gaara was unable to defend. His sand might be powerful and wrapped around his form as a second skin, but the wind style carved into it. Gaara was confused when he saw a red liquid mixing with his sand. He then realized that it was his blood. He went chaotic and screamed. A bloodthirsty scream that shook almost everyone there, as they heard the amount of bloodlust inside of that scream. It was truly frightening. However, up in the stands, something happened. I knew that something didn't feel right about this. "What is your move, Kazekage?" Minato said as calm as ever despite what was taking place around them now. Feathers were bringing people to sleep. The Kazekage chuckled slightly. "Well, you're not known as a smart man for nothing." Boom! The whole box went up in smoke. Minato was through the window, escaping to get some room between them. However, landing behind him was. "I'm not surprised," Minato said, as he looked towards Orochimaru. "You said it yourself that you would return, and you would try to destroy Konoha. The chance of you leaving this place alive like you did all those years ago has just dropped to 0. You made a tragic mistake returning back to this village." Suddenly 4 ninjas appear. Orochimaru shot a snake towards Minato. Minato destroyed it, however. It was just a distraction for the ninjas to perform the technique and trap him inside. Orochimaru chuckled. "And now I've caught you," he said, with a smile on his face. "You think this can hold me? It seems you're more naive than I thought," said Minato as he pulled out a 3-pronged kunai. "Well, it might be able to. However, I know that you won't allow these things to escape." Orochimaru spat snakes towards Minato once again, as he was not going to give him a chance. Orochimaru then summoned a snake. The snake then puked up 2 bodies. Orochimaru did not trust Minato to not use that blasted technique against him while he was summoning the reincarnation, so Orochimaru performed the sealing prematurely. Yes, earlier. And here they were. However, they were asleep by his command, his chakra to wake them. Minato flashed forward, intending on taking Orochimaru's head clean off, but he was blocked by the first Hokage. The second then planted a kick in his stomach, but Minato was already gone, reappearing behind his kunai. Exactly why I decided to bring them earlier. So now the real fun shall begin. Orochimaru gazed outside. Minato felt something was not right. The look in his eyes. "Oh, I forgot to mention to you. I also brought your son here as well." Minato's eyes went wide hearing that. Down below in the stands, Kushina kicked away another sound ninja. "Mom," she heard, as she looked to see Mito running towards her. However, Kushina's eyes went wide in shock when she saw a man standing behind Mito, wearing a black cloak. He gripped the cloak and pulled it off as he tossed it. She then remembered the description that Minma had said. Kushina's eyes went wide. "Mito, behind you!" she screamed. Minma down below heard it as he snapped his gaze up. Mito spun around. Her eyes went wide. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share this with all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs on the other channels. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So without further ado or wasting any more time, let's begin this. What am I saying? Let's get the hell out of here. Peace.